All right, I'm sorry for the clickbait title. No, I'm not actually leaving Thailand. I'm just not in Thailand right now for two reasons. First is I'm working to get the DTV visa, Destination Thailand, and this is a 5-year visa where you can stay in Thailand for 6 months at a time. And it's not often that Thailand does this, where they give the opportunity to have a visa that you don't have to pay an exorbitant amount of money to get like they did in the past. So I think it's a cool opportunity. You should look into it, see if you can qualify for it and go for it. And then the other reason is I have a goal of traveling to 10 different countries each year outside the US, and Japan right now. I'm in Hokkaido, Japan. I'm next to a little river right here. It's been snowing a lot. It's beautiful here. And I've been here for a month, and I got another 10 days to go, and then I'm celebrating New Year's in my 11th country, Taiwan, which is where I'm going to be applying for this visa. You can't apply for the visa in Thailand. You have to do it in another country. It doesn't have to be your home country. You can go into the DTV Facebook group, and if you're near, let's say, Jakarta or Taiwan, check and see if they're doing the e-visa, or you can do a walk-in, and walk-in, you can get your response sometimes same day. So I'm excited for that. You should look into that. But yeah, if you have been following my journey, it's been pretty cool so far. If you haven't, check out my first video to see why I moved to Thailand. I'll recap it for you really quickly. I sold everything at the beginning of this year to travel the world and live in Thailand. And back in the age of COVID, the very beginning of COVID, I quit my corporate job as an industrial engineer, and I worked for one of the largest consulting companies in the world. It was just not a career that I could see myself in. The stress was insane, the sales pressure was insane, and I did not get 2 master's degrees to sell. I wanted to use my technical knowledge to help companies improve and reduce injury rates and help companies become more efficient and do all these technical things that I have all the knowledge for. Instead, they just wanted me to sell. I didn't like that, and I realized, yeah, screw it. There's other things I could do. So I started a business 4 years ago, and I had a warehouse, I had employees, I'm in the e-commerce space, and I realized, hey, I really want to be remote. So it took some time to get to the point where I can actually do it remotely, and natural progression, I wanted to travel the world. So it'd be really cool if you could like and subscribe this video at the very end if you thought this was valuable to you. And it means a lot. It'd be cool to get this channel monetized one day, and your subscription will not only help that happen, but also help this video reach more people with the same interest that you do. So in case you didn't see my very first video, you should check it out. I just talked about all the things that I was anticipating moving over to a place like Thailand. I could definitely say all those things came true. Thailand is an awesome place to live, and I'll explain a little bit of the benefits that I found traveling to Asia, and I'll also tell you some of the struggles that I came across as a digital nomad. And there are some, and you may or may not experience the same things. I know there's quite a few people that they give it a shot moving overseas, and it just turns out to not be what they were expecting. It's definitely a dream to be able to be your own boss or have a corporate job that enables you to work remotely and internationally. It's for sure a dream, but these dreams definitely do come true. It's not a pipe dream. Asia is definitely pretty awesome, but I love Thailand. I think it is the ideal place to live. It has amazing healthcare, amazing infrastructure, and has really everything you could need and want. I think it has the perfect blend of everything that I needed when I was back at home, plus a blend of a really wide variety of international experiences. You go to Thailand, and it's not just Thai people that you interact with, it's people from all around the world, and people that have traveled all over the world, have a bunch of different stories to share. And that's what I think life is about, is stories. I think the best classroom is the one that doesn't have 4 walls. I know that sounds cliche, but really you'll experience a lot of personal growth through something like this. I think Thailand definitely is a place that has an extremely low cost of living. For example, my rent in Chiang Mai was around 600, 700 US dollars, and it was for a condo. I actually went to 2 different places. The one that I recommend in Chiang Mai is the Nimana. I thought that was a really comfortable place to live. But I also have a friend that has a multi-story, multi-bedroom, single unit house for, I think, $600 a month too. The options are endless, and honestly, you can structure it around pretty much any budget. When it comes to things like daily cost of living, so in terms of food, you can spend $10 or less per day to eat 3 meals out or have food delivered. One of my favorite places that I eat at serves authentic northern Thai food, which is different than what you would find in Bangkok or Phuket, for example. And I can get this for maybe $2 or $3 delivered to my door on a motorbike in 30 minutes. So if I'm inside and I'm working, I could just have food delivered for next to nothing. And I actually like the portion sizes. They're slightly smaller. They'll get you full, don't worry, but it's not overdone like I would find in America, where I order something and it's just all this extra food and I feel so bad wasting it that I end up having to eat it all and get fat. And I know what, there's a cute snowcat right here. Hello, hello. Okay, sorry, I just love cats, and I heard a meow behind me. It is snowing out here and there's a cat. I don't know where the cat's going. Hopefully the cat's safe. I know there's wild animals here. But anyways, back to food. The nutrition, you can get all of that for less than $10 a day. And you can even eat some bigger meals and still spend way less than you would eating out in America. Another thing is you don't tip in Asia, so keep that in mind as well. Another thing is the cost of transportation. So instead of Uber, they use an app called Grab. And with Grab, you can travel anywhere on a motorbike or in a car for also next to nothing. I would say that unlike Uber, the amount of driving that you'll do with these Grab drivers is going to cost less than it costs to spend on gas driving around in your home country, which is not something you could say about Uber. So I get food, transportation, housing, utilities is usually included in housing, for the most part, from my experience. And yeah, I mean, realistically, I know people that can survive in Thailand off of $1,000 a month. If you spend 2 or 3, you're gonna be living a pretty good life. With all that being said, you don't actually need to make that much to have a great life in Thailand. And I think that's huge, because given that Thailand has everything you could need, you could actually live an amazing life. In addition to that, another thing that I discovered is community in Thailand. So as a digital nomad, or as, let's say, you're a retiree, because I know there's a lot of retirees that watch my channel too, you can meet up with tons of people doing exactly what you do. There's meetups every other day. There's WhatsApp groups that you could join. You know, even if you're a very specific type of entrepreneur, I guarantee you there's a meetup group and a WhatsApp group for that specific thing that you do. You're always going to have community, and one of the downsides to this that you definitely need to be prepared for is people come and go. Let's say that, you know, I am living in Chiang Mai, but right now I'm in Japan, and next month I'm going to be in Taiwan. The next month I'll be in the Philippines, and then I'll be back in Thailand. So you'll meet people, and within a few weeks they could be gone. Maybe in a week they could be gone, and you might not see them again. So you have to take into account you'll be making friends, a lot of really good friends, but they might not always be around. Keep that in mind. Occasionally you'll meet people that are living full-time. Let's say one of my friends who's on a marriage visa living full-time in Thailand, but on general visas, even this DTV visa, it's not a 12-month-a-year visa, it's a 6-month-a-year visa. And I know you can get that extended, but for the most part, people will be continuing to travel. So you'll get comfortable with that over time. But let's say that you're feeling homesick on your decision to sell things and move overseas to Asia. It could potentially make your homesickness a little bit worse because you don't have that stability in your friendships. Yeah, keep that in mind. But before I continue talking about the struggles that I've run into, I'll finish off by saying one of the advantages of actually living in a place like Thailand is, let's say that you look at these travel itineraries and there's 1 week or 2 weeks in Chiang Mai or Thailand overall, and it gives you like the standard things that you do, everybody does. You go to Chiang Mai, you're gonna go and do, let's say, Northern Thai food cooking class. You're gonna stay in the old city and walk around and do the night bazaar. You're going to go see hill tribe villages. You're going to an elephant park, the Elephant Nature Park. It's a humane park. Don't ride elephants, don't even pet elephants. There's a lot of issues in the elephant industry that you'll learn if you go to an ethical elephant sanctuary. But these are like the typical things that you would see on an itinerary. And yes, they're all awesome, but there's so much more that you won't see on these itineraries. And actually living in a place and speaking with the locals, you'll actually learn about them and go and do things where you might be the only non-Thai person there. There's a couple advantages to that. And outside of being in a place overwhelmed with tourists, you're also going to be helping communities that don't see tourists that often and actually contributing by spending money in those places and helping those guys out, while you're also benefiting from a very unique and sometimes personalized experience, because you get a lot more time with these locals than you would going around a really touristy place. So I think that's one big benefit of really living in a place instead of just visiting short term. But yeah, segueing that into one of the main problems of being a digital nomad is there's so much to do. There's a reason why you're leaving your country to live in a place like Thailand. And it's probably because there's just so many amazing features, amazing things to do, amazing people. There's distractions everywhere. And let's say you're like me and you have to run a business. You know, I don't have a boss. I'm my own boss. If I want my business to be successful, I put that on myself, my time, my focus, and it's kind of hard to do that in a new place. You know, you have to manage your distractions really, really well, and then you'll be able to flourish. But if you come here, you're trying to run some business or do some job, and you're constantly distracted, honestly, this isn't going to work out. I think you need to create a system where you can balance this in a healthy way. And the way that I do this is I alternate. So let's say that I'll work 2 days and I'll spend 1 day going out, doing something, seeing something, and then I'm back to work the next day, where I have full days of work set aside. I build a schedule and I stick to it, and I don't, work in the morning and then I'm like, oh, in the afternoon I'm going to go here and do this and this. That doesn't seem to work out for me. Maybe it does for you, but I need a little bit more structure in getting things done. And a lot of times that actually motivates me to get as much productivity into a single day as I can, so that the next day I don't have to worry about, oh, well, I didn't do this, or I didn't, send this email campaign, or I didn't build these videos, or whatever. I don't have to worry about that, and it makes the experience more enjoyable. That's how I do it. I balance things by alternating days. You also need some kind of routine to keep you in check. And for me, it's training jiu-jitsu. That's something that I've been doing for almost a decade now, and I'm going to continue doing it, and grounds me into a routine that's healthy for my mind and for my body. And your jiu-jitsu could be anything. It could be simple walking in the morning, gym, meditation, whatever it is that you're interested in, but build a routine. It's really easy to get overwhelmed by distractions. I like to call it vacation mode. It's something that you really do have to snap yourself out of if you want to be. Now, you could be lucky and have a business that revolves around doing things. I think that is a really great way to do it, being maybe a content creator, reviewing hotels or destinations or whatever. If you can get paid for it, do it. I notice a lot of people have the dream of moving overseas to become a content creator, and I see some people, you know, they quit their job and they move out with the dream of starting a content creation business. I honestly think the wisest thing to do is establish cash flow before you actually move overseas. For me, it took 4 years to get to a comfortable point to do that. But if I came out and started a business at the same time of moving, that would have been a struggle, because vacation mode, snapping out of that, really putting in those hours. You know, I put in maybe 80 hours a week on my business when I first started. That's more than the job that I left, but it was worth it this many years later. And I have a business that basically runs on autopilot. I have cash flow coming in when I'm not necessarily working on a certain day, which is really neat. And it took a long time to establish that. So keep that in mind. Try and get something set up before you come. I think there's going to be a little bit more success in that than coming out and trying to start the business. Another struggle is figuring out your expectations. What is it that you're trying to get out of becoming a digital nomad? What is it that you actually want? And you have to figure out if those expectations are realistic. Are you trying to, you know, every week travel to a new country while also trying to generate cash flow with your business? I hate to break it to you, but you might need to spend a little bit more time in places, because if you do that, and I see people do that, you're going to be in this constant state of vacation mode, and you're going to notice that your bank account is going to be going down instead of up, unless you're actually getting paid for it. Be a little bit more realistic with that. Also, if you're trying to find some kind of life fulfillment, spiritual fulfillment, whatever it is, by coming out here, you might not actually find that, because I think that is something that comes from within yourself. It has nothing to do with where you're at. And yes, there is a lot of personal development and growth that you're going to get out here, but in terms of fulfillment, which is something that I see so many people trying to get, that's something that's internal, not external. So make sure that you understand that expectation. And then I think lastly, another struggle would be language barrier. So for example, in Thailand, there's not a lot of English. Here in Japan, there's even less English. But, you know, let's say that you don't speak English, you speak German, you're translating my video right now, that's fine. You can use Google Translate to do pretty much everything you need when you're in a foreign country. And that's how I communicate with a lot of people. But I also recommend learn some of the local language if you're going to be staying in a place longer than a week. Mainly because it'll make it a lot more comfortable for you and the local that you're speaking to, and you'll actually communicate a lot better by using Google Translate and learning some phrases in the local's language, especially a place like Japan. So I noticed that when I say a certain phrase that is not konnichiwa, arigato, sayonara, if you actually say like a phrase, then it puts a smile on anyone's face here. That's what I love about it here. They might seem a little cold. I've seen some people I've seen some locals get frustrated trying to deal with a tourist that just refuses to speak the language. And they might seem cold when you first talk to them, but they're not cold people. They're just, you know, a little bit nervous sometimes. And once you say a phrase, it puts a smile on their face, and it happens every single time. And in Thailand, it's a similar thing. They get really excited when you put an effort into speaking the language. So keep that in mind, put some effort into that area, and you will also learn a lot. You'll open doors to learn about new places to visit, things to do that the local would do themselves. Like this place I'm in, like I've never heard of it before. I was told by locals to come here. So keep that in mind. So outside of those things, I just want to reflect a little bit on my year. It's been a pretty crazy year. And I'll speak with just regards to being a digital nomad. I was able to go, as of in about 10 days, I'll be in my 11th country, which is really exciting. I've been as far north as Norway and Estonia, all the way to Indonesia, Brunei. I went to Brunei. It's a really cool place. You should watch my video. And now I'm in Japan, northern Japan. it's snowing everywhere. It's incredible. And I travel all for less than what my cost of living was in San Diego. And next year, my same goal, at least 10 countries outside the US. And I already have some lined up. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna hit 10 pretty easily. I'm thinking of South Africa, Tanzania, Korea, Vietnam, Laos, a bunch of other places. I definitely am very happy about the decision to go to a place like Chiang Mai. In particular, you know, obviously I'm gonna be a bit biased. I have ties to my northern Thai roots, and I just love the northern Thai people. They are different people, different food. They used to have a different language, and it's just beautiful up there. So next year, you know, I may return to Chiang Mai, or I may go to a place like Hua Hin. We'll see. I'm gonna do some more exploring and figure that part out once I get the DTV visa. But overall, the decision to become a digital nomad is like the best decision I've ever made, and it's exactly what I was looking for. And you know, this is my dream. I'm living the dream that I've always had, and I don't care about cars or, you know, who has the biggest house or the nicest watch. I don't care about material things. I just care about experiences, stories, and I have a lot of stories to tell about this trip, and I'm gonna make some videos and put those out there to tell you about my time in Japan. But this is the kind of thing that I really value in life, is just storytelling and experiencing things. So that's it. If you have any questions, reach out. I am so happy that I had a video that reached so many people, and I even had people come to Chiang Mai to eat dinner with me to talk about my experience and what they're looking for. And I gave them pretty much the same kind of advice that I'm giving you right now, and they're gonna make the decision to move to Thailand. So, you know, if you have any other questions, just leave it in the comments or DM me on Instagram, and you know, maybe I'll make another video about them, or maybe some more specific struggles, who knows. But subscribe to this channel if you thought this was valuable to you. I hope it was. Maybe I talked too much, I don't know. That's just who I am. And yeah, if you have a dream, if you have motivation to do something like this, I would say do it. It's not easy. It's definitely worth it. I've always dreamt about it. Now I'm here. This was my dream come true. But anyways, I'm gonna continue exploring Japan, put out some more videos, and hopefully see you soon.